Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of Intense Takes Inside My Mind. Happy New Year to everybody. I know we took like a week, 2-week break, but we're back at it, giving you this first episode of the New Year. A lot of good basketball has been played. A lot of things have been, in sports in general, has been happening. So very excited to bring this episode to you guys to start off this new year. I also want to start off by just saying, appreciate you guys for tuning in to these first five episodes. Been doing a lot of adjusting in between and everything like that, but I appreciate the support. Looking forward to this year and really starting off giving you guys good content. Like I said, I appreciate everybody that's been watching and supporting. This is just knowledge for everybody. I want everybody to just see how I look at things and just get my opinion on sports in general and just how much I really dedicate myself to watching the game of basketball and sports in general. So let's get off to a very good year. Yeah, so let's jump right into power rankings for this week. Like I said, there was a lot of good basketball being played over the past couple of weeks or so. We had some really good Christmas games. Even a week of Christmas too, we had some really good games. So let's jump right into it. Number one for this week, got to put the Spurs at number one for this week. They had a really good last week and a half, sitting at 5-2. They're 24-9 overall right now. I had to put them at number one because OKC has 5 losses. 3 of those losses have come to the Spurs. That's huge to me. Two of those wins by the Spurs are by double digits. We had 2 the week of Christmas and 1 on the day of Christmas. They're a really good team, man. Wemby's averaging 24 and 12, 3.5 blocks per game. But you got De'Aaron Fox, who I know I've said he's going to get traded, but right now, he's playing good for the team that he's on. But they're playing really good basketball right now. They also beat the Knicks last night too. But this team is good, man. They got great perimeter players all around, players who can score, players who have high energy, who defend at a high level also. So I had to put this team at number one for this week. They're 5th in offensive rating and 5th in defensive rating also. So they're top 5 in both of those categories. But they've gone from a team that's just young and hungry to a true contender at this point. So shout out to the Spurs for making number one. Number 2, we got OKC sitting at number 2. Like I said, they're sitting at 29-5 right now. SGA is averaging 32, 6 and 6 on 56% from the field, 42 from 3-point range, and 88 from the free throw line. They're 4-3 in this last week and a half or so. Like I said, 2 of those losses came to the Spurs. Then they also had a really good game against the Timberwolves that came down, that went down to the stretch also. That was also the week of Christmas. That was a really good game. But this team they're still a very good team, and I'm pretty sure they're still the favorites also. But I will say that they most definitely have some challengers in the Western Conference. We're talking about Denver when they finally get healthy. The Timberwolves, the Rockets, the Spurs. All 4 of those teams, can really give OKC a run for their money for sure. So it's not going to be easy sledding for this team at all, but they're still the favorites. They're a really good team. 4th in offensive rating, number 1 in defense, like they've been all year. So this is still a really good team. Number 3, we got the Rockets making their way back into the power rankings for this week. They're 4-1 within the last week or so, sitting at 21-10 right now. Kevin Durant he's just amazing, man. He's efficient, just playing great basketball right now. He's averaging 25, 5 and 5 on 52% from the field, 43 from the 3-point line, and 90% from the free throw line. He's playing great basketball. They've won 4 straight right now by an average of 18 points per game. So they're blowing teams out right now. They're playing very good basketball. Latest win, obviously they had that blowout win against the Nuggets about a week and a half ago or so. Then they had that blowout win against the Lakers on Christmas Day. So they're hitting their stride, I feel like. Towards the end of December, they were lacking in defense. They ended up rounding out December as being 17th in defensive rating, but they're third in points allowed in the league, and they're number one in offense. So when you mix those two things together, it gives you a great team. Like I said, I spoke on the Rockets a few times within this podcast so far about what I feel like they need to do trade-wise, but this team is really good overall. Number 4 is the Pistons. We got Cade Cunningham. Pistons sitting at 25-9 right now. They've been coming back down to earth after that hot start that they had to the year. They went 4-3 in their last week and a half of basketball. Like I said, Cade is averaging 27, 6, and 10 right now. They beat the Lakers earlier this week by 22, which was really good. But, they've had losses to the Clippers, which right now doesn't seem like such a bad loss. The Clippers are really hot right now. Then they also had a bad loss to the Jazz, too. But, I'm going to speak on this team in another segment in this episode. But, they're going to have to make some changes to this roster. They're a really good team. And them being in the East gives them that ability to come out of the Eastern Conference. But, they're a solid team, and they're a young team at the end of the day. So they're going through this patch where it's a lot of up and down right now. Like I said, after having that hot start to the year. They're number 2 in the NBA in defense, and they're 10th in offense right now. So, it's a recipe for success. But I got a few things that I would look forward to for the Pistons to accomplishing. And then number 5, we got the Timberwolves sitting at number 5. Now, I might get a lot of pushback on this. And I feel like with the Timberwolves, it's not so much about their record. 8 games over 500 is not bad at all. And there are teams that have better records than them. But when you watch the Timberwolves play, they play the really good teams very, very well. They have a good record against teams over 500. The thing with them is that they play down to their competition a lot. So they have losses against teams like the Nets, where they just got blown out by the Nets earlier this week. The Hawks 2 nights ago, they got blown out also. So when you lose into these lesser teams, like, it kind of clouds your vision on what a team looks like. But the Timberwolves are a team that I also have a lot of confidence in, and I like them a lot. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they came out of the Western Conference. But I put them in my power rankings for this week because I feel like it's so much more about just their record and how they do against other good teams. And to me, that's important because when you get to the playoffs, you're going to be playing a lot of good teams. Well, we got Ant averaging 29, 5, and 4 right now. 50% from the floor, 40% from three-point range, 81% from the free throw line. Like I said, they had a huge win against OKC. Ant was able to hit the dagger in that game. They started off slow in that game, but started to pick it up in the second half, and it was able to pull that game out. Also had an amazing OT game against the Nuggets, which I'll headline in the best games that I watched over the past week or so. But they're 8th in offensive rating right now and 6th in defense. So that's, especially with their defense, it's a lot better than how they started off the season. Like I said, they started to pick it up once they hit around that 10-11 game mark. But that rounds up my power rankings for this week. Next, we're going to go right into best games. And this week for best games, we're going to do the Christmas games and the 3 best Christmas games that I saw this year, which were pretty much the 3 most competitive games. First was that Cavs versus Knicks game. Knicks with a huge comeback in that game. They were down 17 points to the Cavs in that game. Looked like the Cavs were going to pull that game out. Knicks, maybe when they hit that 7-8 minute mark in that fourth quarter, they pulled together, buckled down on defense, and it was able to make a comeback. Ended up pulling out that game 126 to 124. Brunson had a huge night with 34 points, but it really was their bench. Jordan Clarkson came off the bench, had 25 points, and then Tyler Kolek, who I spoke about in episode 4 when the Knicks were in my power rankings, but he's playing great off the bench. He had 16 and 9 off the bench in that game. So they played a very good game. That was a really good game that I watched. And the Knicks are a very much different team this year because they're expanding how many players that they play. Everybody, Mike Brown has come in and he's given a lot of confidence to young players on that bench and just to their bench in general. And Jordan Clarkson is an elite scorer. I mean, a professional scorer. So having a scoring punch off the bench like that will definitely help your team. Number 2, we're going to go with the Spurs versus OKC. Like I said, the Spurs ended up winning that game 117-102. Earlier in the week, the Spurs also beat them 130-110. So to have 2 double-digit wins against the best team in the league like that in a 1 week is huge, especially for a young team. Like I said, the Spurs just have spry young talent. You know, they got energy, and they got scorers too. They got people who are willing to, defend at a high level also. But it was a very good game. And the Spurs actually started off slow in that game too. But towards the end of the second quarter and then going into the third quarter, they started to pick it up and kind of had the game going away in that game. Wemby was still coming off the bench. He finished with 19 and 11. De'Aaron Fox had 29 points, 63% from the field. This is one of SGA's worst games. He had 22 points on 7 and 19 shooting. So it wasn't that good of a game for him also, but that was a good game, and also just was a huge reason why I decided to put the Spurs number 1 in my power rankings for this week. Then last game was the best game all the Christmas games. That Timberwolves versus Nuggets games was an amazing overtime game. Didn't look like that early in the fourth quarter, but man, the Timberwolves came back late with Ant making huge shots, Julius Randle making huge shots. Nuggets ended up pulling out that game 142-138 in overtime, but man, that game was big. Ant ended up hitting a big 3-pointer to send the game into overtime off of a catch-and-shoot corner 3-point shot. But, man, watching Jokic play was amazing. I mean, we're talking one of the best games in NBA history. 56 points, 16 rebounds, 15 assists on 71% shooting. I mean, just amazing. And the Timberwolves started off overtime hot, 9-0 run to start off overtime. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, this game is over. Then Jokic happened. Threes after threes. Jamal Murray hitting big shots. I mean, it was an amazing game. So, and also finished with 44 points that game. It was a great game all around. And anytime those two teams get together, it's a great game. It's an amazing game. So, that was definitely the best game that I saw in the past 2 weeks and on Christmas Day for sure. But that rounds out this first segment. All right, welcome to segment 2 with MVP rankings and potential trades. Let's jump right into it. Number 1, we're going to go with MVP rankings. I know Jokic is injured right now. I know he's going to be out for a month, but it just wouldn't be fair. And I'm probably going to change it next week, but I got to put him number 1 right now. Like I said, the shit that he's doing is just incredible. It's incredible, and you cannot look past it. Looking at the type of season he's having, and it's not like this the first time that we've had a player average 30, 12, and 11, or even 30, 12, and 6, whatever it might be, because Giannis has done it plenty of times. But the difference with Jokic is the efficiency of how he's shooting. Giannis could do it from the field, shoot the 60% from the field, but he's going to miss the 3-point line. He's not going to have the free throw percentage. Jokic is averaging 60% from the field, 43% from the 3-point line, and 85% from the free throw line. So, I mean, you averaging 30, 12, and 11 on that efficiency, I don't really got a choice but to put you at number 1. Number 2, I'm going to go with SGA. He's averaging 32, 6, and 6 right now on 56, 42, and 88. Also very, very efficient. Best record in the league. Top 10 defender as far as defensive metrics go. So you got an all-around player like that that's going to definitely have you top 2 in MVP. Number 3, I'm going to go with Cade. He's averaging 27, 6, and 10 right now. Like I said, he's leading a young team right now. Number one record in the East. So he's the engine for that team. Number 4, I'm gonna go with Ant. Ant is averaging 29, 5, and 4 right now on 50, 40, 81. Really good player, great player. Love the way he's playing this year. Love the efficiency in which he's playing with also. So I had to put him in there. And then number 5, got to put Kevin Durant in at number 5. Got to. I mean, he's averaging 26, 5, and 5 right now on 52, 43, and 90. I mean, this is elite efficiency, and he's 37 years old. 37 years old with a young team around him, young core around him, and he's bringing that team along. So had to put him top 5, had to put him number 5 in my MVP rankings. We're gonna jump into potential trades, and then a surprise team. Not so much not so much of a surprise, but a team that I want to continue to monitor and continue to just watch, and mainly because they have one of my favorite players on there, and that's the Sixers. Sixers are sitting at 18 and 14 right now. They've been playing a better basketball over the past month or so. But I'm watching this team because they're slowly but surely starting to get healthy. And with that, I'm talking about Paul George and Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is now able to play fourth quarters and finish out fourth quarters also. In his past 6 games, he's averaged in 3 of his past 6 games, he scored 30 or more. And that's highlighted by 39 points against the Pacers and then 34 against the Grizzlies. He's playing great basketball right now, and he's starting to get his feet under him also. And he said it earlier this week also, that he's starting to feel a lot like himself. Then you look at Tyrese Maxey. He's averaging 31 right now, 47% from the field, 40% from three-point range, 89% from the free throw line. So he's playing elite basketball. Then we got VJ Edgecombe. And to me, when I look at young players, and then young players who are very, very athletic, to me, I look at their growth on the defensive end, and then also how good is their shooting as they are progressing within the NBA. And VJ wasn't really known as much of a shooter. Good slasher, a guy that could get to the cup, and very athletic. He's shooting 38% from the three-point line, which is amazing. Great for a rookie, for sure. So I like the way that he's going. And then we got PG-13. PG, he's coming back also coming back from injury. He's averaging 16 points right now, but he's shooting 39% from the three-point line. But he's playing elite defense. He's playing very, very elite defense. And I just feel like the Sixers right now, they're trying to build that chemistry as a team with so many of their players being injured and, not having that starting 5. They're also still missing Kelly Oubre, who is another 15 to 18 points on any given night. So this team is just trying to pick it up, trying to find that camaraderie and build, looking forward towards the postseason potentially, and just trying to make a run at it. So that's the team I'm very much so keeping an eye on, especially over the past month or so, trying to make sure that, they're building great habits, building that chemistry, like I said. So really looking forward on the Sixers and their progression as a team. And then we're going to go into the Pistons. Like I said, I spoke on the Pistons a little bit earlier when it got to power rankings. And really watching them over the past 3 weeks or so, over the past 7 games, I want to say too, I just became more confident in that potential trade that I have for Anthony Davis being traded over to them. I feel like this team is really good, but they're young. And I also feel like even with that top 10 ranking in offense, they're ranked 10th, but they have a lot of times where it's just hard for them to score. And Cade is really that only player on their team that could consistently get his own shot, create for himself, and having to create for others. And I feel like that's going to be hard, especially when the playoffs come. I think getting a player like AD who could still give you 25 and 10 on any given night will be a huge boost for this team. And they're ranked 2nd in defensive rating also. AD is one of the best defenders in the league, even at this age right now. So I think with AD coming over to that team, the Pistons have to really find a way to trade for him. I also feel like they need another shooter. Right now, they're ranked 19th in three-point percentage. and they're ranked 28th in even attempts. I think the add of Duncan Robinson has been a great help to their team, but they need another shooter also. They need consistent shooting on their team, especially with Cade not really being all that good of a three-point shooter. He's shooting 33% from three-point range right now. But I feel like, this team is really good. They're young. But to have another player like AD, who's a champion, who's battle tested, who has been in the playoffs, for many years, adding a player like that to their team will give them a big boost, and I think will make them, potential favorites to come out of the East. But that's my MVP rankings and my potential trades and surprise teams for this week. All right, so welcome to our bonus take segment. Obviously, in this is a new segment that we started in episode 4, so we're just going to keep it going. The first one, we're going to check in on the college football playoffs. Obviously, we had some games played over this week. Gonna go check in on that Indiana versus Bama game. That was a big surprise to me. Was not expecting it to be a blowout like that. But man, IU is tough. That's a tough team. Great defensive front, good cornerbacks, great defense all around, and then they have good skill players too on offense. We got Becker, who's a good deep threat. Obviously Mendoza. They have a good run game. But yeah, that was a very surprising blowout for sure. We got Miami versus OSU. That was another game too that kind of surprised me. I thought that OSU was gonna pull that game out, especially once they made that comeback, cut it to 17-14 in the third quarter. And Jeremiah Smith was just looking unstoppable. But like I said in episode 4, that Miami defensive front is tough, man. They were able to get pressure on Julian Sayin consistently. I think they had 5 sacks overall. Yeah, man, that team is tough. And then, Carson Beck just being able to, steady the ship, make completions when he needs to. I think he completed 13 straight passes at one point during that game. Obviously, Malachi Tony, huge threat for their team, and then their running back also. So they were able to pull out that game. And then, to me, the most exciting game was the Ole Miss versus UGA game. Man, Trinidad Chamberlain, he's a tough cat. He reminds me a lot of Kyler Murray, scrambling around like that, big arm, but he could also play within a pocket too. And it surprised me, Georgia's defense just wasn't able to get consistent stops and stop them. But I think this playoff is going to be, it looks wide open to me. I think maybe Indiana and Miami will look like the favorites right now. But man, I'm looking forward to this semifinal. I believe we have IU versus Oregon again, which is a rematch from earlier in the Big Ten season. And then we got Miami versus Ole Miss. So we'll see what happens. Ole Miss playing very good on offense. Oregon, it's always tough to beat 2 teams twice, especially in football, especially when you've seen them. Vice versa, same thing happened last year where Oregon beat Ohio State in the regular season, and then when they met in the playoff, Ohio State was able to beat them. So maybe this year it might work out in Oregon's favor and they'll win the second time around. Second in bonus takes, we also got the NFL playoffs or seeding kind of finalizing this weekend. We got 3 division titles that are up for grabs. Obviously, we got the biggest one of all with the Seahawks and the 49ers. Should be a huge game. Purdy is on fire right now, and anybody that knows me knows I've never been a huge Purdy fan, but can't deny how good he's playing right now. That 49ers defense, man, is very suspect, and with Sam Darnold, and when he gets hot, he can get really hot. That Seahawks defense, tough too. We got Devin Witherspoon, DeMarcus Lawrence, Julian Love. They're good on all 3 levels: D-line, backers, corners, their safeties. They're very good on all levels. But that should be a very good game. I'm looking forward to watching that game. Next, we got the Bucks and the Panthers. which is I think that's a game that's going below the radar, but to me it's a very important game because Bryce Young is in his third year. And, you know, a lot of rookies, they find it hard to tread water in this league, especially when they've been benched. Now he's been able to, you know, come back, play well, but there's still a lot of inconsistencies within his game and how he plays. And it's so crazy. Like, he's one player that I can't really make sense of it right now. I can't really understand what it is because one week he looks amazing. Then another week he looks like he shouldn't even be playing in the NFL. But I believe that if the Panthers are able to win tomorrow, get to the playoffs, it at least buys him another year of being able to show that he could be the franchise guy for the Panthers. Then we got the Bucs on the other hand that, man, after starting off 6-2 this year, they've just been on a downward spiral. Baker Mayfield has not been playing good over the past 5 to 6 weeks. A lot of turnovers. Defense not playing that good also. You know, we've seen Todd Bowles call out his team overall a lot of times, just not having a sense of urgency and everything. Now, you know, going to the playoffs, they're going to need a lot of help because even if they win tomorrow night, they're also going to need the Falcons to lose to the Saints. So a lot has to work in the Bucs' favor for them to make it to the playoffs. And, you know, once we get to the playoffs, anything can happen. It's one and done. If you play your best game on any given Sunday, you know, you're able to make it to the next round. So we'll see what happens. Third and final game, that Sunday night game, Steelers versus Ravens in Pittsburgh. Biggest game of all. It's actually crazy that the Ravens have an opportunity to, you know, make it to the playoffs, which is crazy. Thinking about how their season starting off 1-5, then winning five in a row, and then losing to the Bengals on Thanksgiving, which they shouldn't have, losing to the Steelers, which they shouldn't have lost, both due to the refs, reversing the touchdown by Isaiah Likely that should have been called, and then losing to the Patriots also. You know, 3 games that they should have won. And then now being able to be in this position where they could still go to the playoffs in a one-and-done scenario or in a winner-take-all scenario. Huge. Big news today, full week of practice for Lamar Jackson. So he is going to be playing on Sunday, which is huge. The Ravens, it's pretty simple for them. Everybody knows how electrifying Lamar is. Everybody knows how good Lamar is. But there has to be some sense of balance between using Lamar in a pass game and a run game, and using Derrick Henry also. That Green Bay Packers game is that's a nice solid like evidence right there. Run them till you can no more. And in the first meeting between these two teams, Ravens ran for 217 yards, so they know that they can do it. So we're looking forward to this game for sure. I think that's the game that I'm looking forward to the most. It's the game that I have more invested in, I would say, because I'm a huge Ravens fan, huge Lamar fan. So looking forward to that game for sure. And then on the other side, we got the Steelers too. TJ Watt is back after missing 2 or 3 weeks, I believe. But this all comes down to Aaron Rodgers. You know, terrible showing last week. Not being able to win a game that you knew that if you won, no matter what the Ravens did, you were going to get into the playoffs. And being able to only muster up 6 points against the Browns, even though the Browns are a top 3 defense in the whole NFL. But, you know, you got to do better than that. So we'll see what happens now. The last time Aaron Rodgers was in this position where he had an opportunity to win and go to the playoffs was when he was in Green Bay, his last year in Green Bay. And he was with and they played the Lions, and they ended up losing that night. So pretty much outside of the last Super Bowl run that he had, you know, in big games that have playoff implications, Aaron Rodgers has not been that good. So we'll see what happens with that. Number 3 in bonus takes, and this is something that I kind of threw in there today because I wanted to get more information on it. But yesterday I saw the Warriors are going to sit Jimmy Butler, Stephen Curry, and Draymond Green tonight against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, tonight is the first game of a back-to-back. Tomorrow they play the Utah Jazz. I'm pretty sure those 3 players are going to play tomorrow. To me, number one, it's terrible for the NBA. And this is why, a lot of people have an issue with the league. This is a national televised game. You're going against the Oklahoma City Thunder, a contender, the champions. Why wouldn't you want your best players out there playing? Number two, to me, that just says the Warriors don't view themselves as real contenders. If you're not willing to put your best players out against another great team and see how you stack up, but you much rather play your players against a lesser opponent, that shows me that you're not serious about your team. You guys are pretty much just coasting. You're not serious about winning a championship this year. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I've always been on this side where when two teams have championship level players or are championship level teams, and those teams aren't playing each other and they're all at full strength, to me, that's not good. It's not good for the league. It's not even good for the morale of a team. So I'm not a big fan of that. That's something that I really wanted to kind of put my opinion on, because I don't think it's good for the NBA, like I said, but it's also not good for your team. If you feel like you're a true contender, you should be able to put your best against the other team's best and see how you stack up. I would more understand it if, honestly, I wouldn't understand it at all. To me, whether it's when you have back-to-backs and it's good team versus bad team, or even if it's bad team versus good team, whenever you play that good team, if you want to rest players, no, I'm totally fine with that. It's a back-to-back, 82 games in the season, about 3 to 5 games per week. I understand it. But I'm always going to be for playing your best players against the good team. You could put anybody out there against a bad team. Maybe you want to expand your rotation at some point. Maybe you want to see what players could play into your rotation. That's when you want to play players against bad teams. But when we're talking about good team on back-to-backs, you play your best against their best. But that's all I got for bonus takes this week. Hey, what's up, and welcome to Film Breakdown Inside My Mind. Today I got two different possessions I want to show you. Obviously, the defensive possession and then the offensive possession. The defensive possession is what I want to show you first, and this comes from the Christmas game between the Nuggets and the T-Wolves. I don't know if a lot of people caught this during the game, but it was something that I caught during the game, and it happened really mid-fourth quarter, and what allowed the Timberwolves to make that comeback and then also into the overtime. But what they did was they switched Rudy Gobert off of Jokic, put him onto another player, and they had Anthony Edwards guard Jamal Murray and Jaden McDaniels guarded Jokic. They kind of used Rudy as like a roamer. And this is not the first time that Rudy has been in that position. Utah, when he was with the Jazz also used him as a roamer at times. Now, that could sometimes help your team, but that could also hurt your team too, because Rudy, he got very clumsy feet. If you got a shooter out there, sometimes he's not going to get out to that shooter in time. And if a shooter gets hot, maybe hits 1, 2 in a row, that pump fake is going to get Rudy easily, and that then makes him become a liability on the defensive end, which sometimes tends to show itself in the playoffs. We all know Rudy is a solid, some people say great. I think he's a good defender in the regular season, but I think you really see how much of a liability he could be in the postseason. But I wanted to show this breakdown because, like I said, it helped the Timberwolves cut the lead down, be able to take a 9-point lead in overtime. But like I said, once they made this switch in mid-fourth quarter, it really turned that whole game around. So let's jump right into the film. So I'm going to start it off right here. So as you can see, we got Ant picking up Jamal Murray at half court. We got Jaden McDaniels right there as Jokic is coming up. And we got Rudy right there below. And I'm going to run it. We're going to see Rudy Roman got a pick. So I want you to see where Rudy Gobert is. The big thing right here is Jaden McDaniels is fronting Jokic. Him fronting Jokic gives Rudy Gobert that opportunity to shade in the back. So when Jokic catches the ball, he has an opportunity to trap. Now, there's gonna have to be rotations on this possession also, but the main part is Anthony Edwards picking up at half court, applying ball pressure. Jokic then knows I have the size advantage on Jaden McDaniels. Let me go into the low post. McDaniels doesn't allow him to get into that low post, and he fronts him, which allows Rudy to shade in the back. So I'm gonna run it again. We got a foul right here. So we're gonna play it again. So Jokic right here has it. We got ball pressure from McDaniels. We got switching right here. A huge thing with this, putting Ant Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, top two defenders on the Timberwolves. Putting those two on the ball allows them to switch. We know Jokic, that Jamal Murray, Jokic pick and roll, probably the toughest to guard in the whole NBA. Now, when they have that pick and roll, it's not like Jamal Murray has Rudy Gobert switched onto him. No. Now you see Jaden McDaniels switches onto him, and then Ant Edwards will take on Jokic. Ant Edwards is strong. He's not strong enough to guard Jokic, but he's strong to hold his ground to some extent. So I'm gonna run it here. We got ball, we got rotation here, and you see, like I said, Rudy is now shading. So he can help on the drive, he can help on everything. And he's gonna have playing defense like this, where you have your big man as a roamer, at times you're gonna have to give up wide open shots. But there's 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Late shots in the shot clocks are always help the defense to some extent. Rudy then closes out, real closeout, and we got some gang rebounding from everybody. So it was a great possession all around, I feel like. When he gets to, we go in again, we got more ball pressure, more getting up screens, we got switches, we got Rudy Gobert guarding, and now he's gonna go with a nice closeout, gang rebound, and Timberwolves are able to collect and go down on the offensive end. But that is something, like I said, that helped this game, kind of turn this game around. Obviously, Jokic being Jokic still found a way to pull out at the end. But I think that what Minnesota took from this game, as far as their defense possessions go, will help them down the line when it comes to Denver. And obviously, there's always adjustments that need to be made. But I think this is something for both teams to keep an eye on moving down the line, because they might see each other again at some point, especially in the postseason. Hey, what's up, and welcome to the second part of this segment where we go into our offensive possession. Here, I know I spoke about the Sixers in segment 2, about me just keeping an eye on them, and also like me watching Joel and how he's progressed over the years. I feel like this possession that I'm going to show you kind of shows me and will also show you why I feel like that about this team and about him. So let's jump right into it. So we got Tyrese Maxey bringing up the ball right now. We're going to see Joel getting a low post. And as you see with anybody, mind you, now Joel he's playing on like one leg right now, maybe like 1.5 legs. Can barely jump, can barely do nothing. But when you're skilled to his level, the defense still has a certain level of respect for you. And you'll see on this possession. I want you to watch. So PJ Washington is obviously guarding him. And then we got Max Christie. Now, mind you, Max Christie shades over to Joel, getting ready to double, and he's leaving a guy in Tyrese Maxey, who is averaging 31 points and shooting 40% from the three-point line. That just goes to show you how much respect you still have to have for a player like Joel Embiid. I also want you to watch Anthony Davis and Cooper Flagg, how Cooper Flagg now has 2 feet in the paint, and the Mavs are going to kind of go into Joel Embiid having this opportunity to face up, look at the basket, and look at the defense as a whole, ends up putting the Mavs in scramble mode at this possession. So let's continue to watch it. So we see Cooper Flagg now. He's coming all the way over to help as Joel takes that 2 dribbles, and he's going to come and double. Now Joel is going to pick up the ball, kick it to the corner, one more kick, and like I said, now we got scramble mode with the Dallas Mavericks. We got VJ catches in the corner, kicks it out to Quentin Grimes. AD comes out, closes out, but doesn't have a good closeout, which allowed Quentin Grimes to drive to the basket. Nembhard has to come and help. VJ gets a nice wide open shot, and like I said, a player that's shooting 39% from the three-point range, a corner shot is nothing for him. But that just goes to show you the type of player that Joel is coming into now, getting his feet under him, now gaining that respect from the defense like he has in prior years. So let's run it back again. We're going to have Tyrese Maxey come up and bring the ball. And Joel's going to go right into the post. We got P.J. Washington guarding him. We got Shade. And we got Cooper now. He's going to come and help. One dribble, one kick to the corner, another kick, a drive. So it's just very basic offense, but it all starts with having a player who has the respect of the defense. When you have a player like that who has the respect of the defense, but around him you have another player that's averaging 31, shooting 40% from the three-point line. You got another player in VJ who's averaging 16, shooting 39% from the three-point line. You got Quentin Grimes, who's a great shooter, also shooting 40% from the three-point line. When you got shooters around a great big man who can find his teammates, the defense is at its disadvantage. And like I said, the Mavs went in scramble mode in this possession, and the Sixers ended up getting a wide open 3. Thank you again for tuning into episode 5. Like I said, I really appreciate you guys for the consistency and just watching these episodes, building with me, the supportiveness of it, all of it. So appreciate it again. Let's get off to a good year, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Share it to your friends, people that you want to teach the sport to, anybody. I think this is a good channel, a good podcast to show people who want to learn more about the game, and also if they're fresh into the game. Also, I think this is a good stepping point. See you guys next week.